Namo Buddhaya. Dear meritorious devotees and my dear children, in life, we cannot expect always that the people that we meet to be nice to us and to be kind to us. Sometimes we will have to deal with toxic people. So when you hear the word toxic, it comes to your mind that is something poisonous. Yes, there are poisonous things in this world. Among them, there are dangerous, poisonous things which are known as the words that are filled with anger. Words are something powerful which can kill us and as well as which can heal us. That is why they say words can break you as well as words can make you. So, sometimes we will have to deal with toxic people, the people who are filled with anger, resentment, and hatred. So, you will expect that all the toxic people are in the outer society. No, sometimes toxic people can be found in our family. It may be your husband, it may be your wife, it may be your brother or sister. Sometimes people may become toxic and they may be the people who we love most. So if a person is toxic and that person lives out of our private life, it is very easy to deal with them. Either we can be away from them, we can reduce the contact with them, and we can find some positive ways to respond to them. But when it comes to the people who are living with you, the people who are in your family, it is very difficult to face such toxic people. So how to deal with such toxic people? Well, before learning that, let me tell you a nice story. One day, a man came to Supreme Buddha and he started blaming to him. He blasted in front of Supreme Buddha. He threw the words of hatred and anger to our great teacher Supreme Buddha. Do you know what Supreme Buddha did? He said nothing, and he kept on a perfect and very kind smile on his face throughout this argument. So, after some time, that person was done with his yelling. He stopped yelling at Supreme Buddha. Then, at that time, our great teacher Supreme Buddha asked a wonderful question. Supreme Buddha said, "Dear young man, I have a question for you. Do you get any visitors and friends when you are living at your home?" Then that man said, "Yes, I am getting many visitors. I am having many visitors when I am living in home." Then Supreme Buddha said, "Well, do you treat them with foods and drinks?" Then the angry man said, "Yes, I am treating them." Then Supreme Buddha said, "What if those friends and visitors did not accept your treat? What will you do for those foods?" Then that man laughed and said, "Those foods belongs to me. If they did not accept that, I am the owner of that food." Then Supreme Buddha said, "Young man, same goes with this argument. You treated me with the words of anger, hatred, and rude words. But I will never accept a single word that was given by you. do you know what happened after that? The whole life of that man, the person who came to blame our Supreme Buddha, changed to a wonderful disciple. He came under the wing of our great teacher, Supreme Buddha. He became a monk. Finally, he was lucky to become an enlightened monk. So that is how our great teacher, Supreme Buddha, dealt with a toxic person. So we have to follow that way. And here are a few things that we can practice to deal with toxic people. The first thing is to do, when you are in an argument, as the first step, be silent. Never say anything, never do anything. Yes, people may yell at us, they may blame at us. All what you have to do is to stay silent and smile. Put a confident smile to your face and smile at them. Make them feel that you are not disturbed. Make them feel that they cannot distract your inner peace by their words. When you do that, they become confused. When you act like that, when you be like that, you are making them confused and they may think twice before approaching you. So in an argument, dear devotees and my dear children, during an argument, we come across two choices. The first choice is to react to that argument. Or the second choice is to respond to that argument. So reaction and responding are two different things. So if you choose reaction, you will become angry as them, you will blame them, you will try to make them down, and you will try to convince them to your idea by hatred and anger, but you will never become successful. You will never win that argument. The best way to win an argument is to be silent first. What you have to do, you need to be silent. Now, when you are being silent, you will feel that you are defeated, but actually you are not. So when you are staying silent, when you are staying calm during an adversive time and in an argument, you are making your opponent confused and they may no longer yell at you. Quickly, they will stop yelling at you. You are not fooling the argument. You don't put any fuel to this argument. So what will happen if we did not put any kind of fuel to a fire? That will gradually fade away. Same goes with the arguments. If you are not giving any arsenal, if you are not giving any weapon to your opponent to hurt you, they will never come to argue with you again. Those arguments, those problems will end quickly. So as the first step, be silent. Here's the second thing that you can do. After a heated argument, your opponent, the person who became angry with you, become tired. Their body become fatigued and they may start to regret about the thing that they have done. And they may start to regret about the words that they have spoken to you. So what you have to do, approach them with kindness. Never blame them. Do not try to convince them at that time. You should approach to them from kindness and compassionate words. Ask them, what is the problem with you? Are you going through a tough time? Are you having any mental stress with you? then they will feel comfortable and safe with you. Then they may regret about the things that they have done and about the words that they have spoken to you. If you approach them with your kindness, if you help them with your compassionate words, that heart will be healed. That heart will be cooled. That fire of anger will extinguish. So what you have to do, approach to them with kindness and compassion. Don't speak when you are angry. Don't act when you are angry. And don't speak when the other person is angry. And don't act when the other person is angry. Stay still and be kind to them. Smile to them. That is the second step that you can do. So here comes the third step. So, after the heated argument, if you approach to them with kindness and compassion, if you heal them with your compassionate words, they will ask for the forgiveness. They will ask the forgiveness from you. So what you have to do? Forgive them by saying that it is okay, no problem. I can be patient with you, but you have to control your anger. Because if you did not control your anger, your life will be ruined. Your spirituality will be ruined. So make them feel that they really, really need to control their anger and they should not yell at you. And you need to forgive them. Don't hold on to anger. Don't hold on to resentment. Instead, forgive them. By forgiving, we can free our mind. We can live freely and we can live happily. So these are the 3 steps that we can use to deal with toxic people. So as a summary, the first step is silence. You should be silent during an argument. Never feel the argument. Number 2, approach them with kindness and compassion, because those words, those actions may heal others' broken hearts. Number 3, forgive when the forgiveness is asked. If you forgive them, if you do these things, if you practice these qualities, you will be happy forever. Namo Buddhaya. Namo Buddhaya. Dear meritorious devotees and my dear children, we all know it is very easy to swim down a stream, but it takes effort and pain and courage to swim up the stream. And also it is very easy to run down a hill, but it takes courage, sweat, and effort to climb up to the hill. This means that there are so many easy things that we can do in our life, but most of them does not bring the happiness to our life. When you swim down a stream, you are going down. When you are running down a hill, you are running down, not up. But if you need to climb up, if you need to swim up, it takes effort. You need to try hard. That means it is very easy to do the things that brings us down, and it takes effort and a lot of hard work to bring us to a higher level in our life. Our great teacher Supreme Buddha explained, Sukarani asadhuni attano ahitanicha. It is very easy to do evil things which brings the suffering to you and as well as to the others. Yangve hitangcha sadungcha tangve paramadukkaram. It is very hard. It takes great courage, pain to do the good things which brings the happiness to you and as well as to the others. Our mind is programmed to do easy things. Now, for an example, if you were to choose two jobs, one is hard and the other one is easy, which one would you choose? Of course, you will choose the easy one, because we always like to do what is easy. So that is the nature of our mind and our life. Doing evil things, doing bad things, doing unwholesome things is very easy. Now, for an example, it is very easy to kill a mosquito. All you need to do to slap on the mosquito and kill it. But it takes patience, love, kindness, and mindfulness to not to kill that animal and save that animal's life. It is very easy to tell a lie when a trouble comes to our life, when we are facing a problem. We can escape from problems by telling lies. But it takes discipline, honesty, and courage, mindfulness to not to tell a lie and always tell the truth. It is very easy to blame someone. When you get angry, if you lose your temper, it is very easy to blame someone. But it takes patience, love, kindness, discipline to not to blame someone and hurt others' feelings. The things that brings us unhappiness or suffering are easy to do. So that is the nature of this world. But it is very difficult to do the things which brings the happiness to ourselves and to the others. Supreme Buddha always advises us to do the wholesome things, to do the good things. Our great teacher Supreme Buddha told us, you should always focus on the wholesome side of your mind. You should never practice the evil things in your mind. You should abandon the evil in your mind. The more we practice the wholesome side, the more we practice the good things in our life, we can be good forever. Our life will become good and we will be wholesome forever. Doing wholesome things, practicing good things, good qualities, being a good human is very difficult. Because all these good things are not familiar to our life. Because we used to do evil things, our mind tends to do evil things. So what we have to do, we should not give up doing good. We can be generous to others. You should practice generosity. We can be kind to others. You can practice kindness. You can love all the living beings in this world. So Supreme Buddha told us to do what is hard. And what is hard is the good, the wholesome things. So what we have to do is, we have to keep on practicing, keep on doing good deeds always. We have to discipline our mind. We should not let our mind to wander here and there. We should not let our mind to be undisciplined. Even though they are hard jobs, even though they are hard things to do, what we have to do is, we have to keep on practicing these things. Because if we did what is easy today, our life will be hard tomorrow. If we did what is hard today, our life will be easy tomorrow. So what we have to do is, we have to keep on practicing what is hard to do. That is the good things, good practices, patience, love, kindness, not becoming angry, not telling lies, living a truthful life, saving the living beings' lives. Those are the things that are very hard to do. Most of the people who live in this society are not caring about others' lives, other animals' lives. They kill little animals. But only a few among us saves other animals' lives. They love other animals' lives. So you should be among those few people. Most of the people tell lies when they face problems. They escape from the problems by telling lies. But there is very few who tell the truth even though they are facing a problem by telling the truth. You should become among those few people. Very few among us gives the trust to the others who are around us, who are living with us. It may be your husband, your wife, your relations. Most of the people does not give the trust to their relations, the people around them who are living around them. It may be your husband, your wife, your relations, your father, your mother. They don't give the trust to them. They cheat them. But very few among us live a trustful and trustworthy life. You should be a trustworthy person. You should become a trustworthy person. So you should always focus on the good deeds, wholesome deeds. And the more you focus on the wholesome deeds and the spiritual practice of your life, you will become a good person. You will become a good human. Always you should focus on good human qualities like patience, love, kindness, and living a compassionate life. So, my dear devotees and my dear children, do what 99% of the population does not do. If you do what is hard today, you can be happy tomorrow. And if you do what is easy today, you will never be happy forever. So practice good deeds. Be good and do good. Namo Buddhaya. Namo Buddhaya. One day, a young man called Subha came up to our great teacher Supreme Buddha and he asked a question from the Buddha. Subha asked, "Oh, Venerable Sir, I see a huge difference in this humankind. Some are long-lived, some are short-lived, some are very beautiful, some are not that beautiful, and some people are very wealthy, while some people are very poor." So this Subha asked, "Venerable Sir, what is the reason for this difference?" Then our great teacher Supreme Buddha explained, "Young man, all the beings are owners of their actions. All the beings hire to their actions, the karma. In Buddhism, we call the action is known as the karma. So all the beings are owners of their karma, as well as all the beings are hired to their karma." Supreme Buddha said, "The karma is their relative. Karma determines their rebirth. And karma is the factor that divides the beings into low and great." So, you see a big difference between these humans, right? Some are very poor, some are very wealthy, some are very beautiful, some are very ugly, and some are long-lived, some are short-lived. This difference is made with our own actions. So you may find the people or the beings or humans who are short-lived. They may die in maybe in their childhood. Some children, some babies may die in their mother's womb. Some children may die in their early childhood. So the reason for this short life is Supreme Buddha said, if someone kills animals, if someone takes the animal's life away, and if someone becomes rude to animals, as a result of that action, those beings who committed such actions will be reborn in hell, in a bad destination in the next life. If that person did not reborn in a bad destination, as a result, he was reborn again in this human world. Supreme Buddha said, he is short-lived. He will have a shorter lifespan. So the reason behind this shorter lifespan is committing the killing beings, committing the action of killing beings. So if we kill animals, remember, our lifespan will be shortened. So we need to give a big concern to not to kill animals. Now normally, you don't kill animals, you don't kill big animals, right? Normally people don't kill them. But what about little mosquitoes? Do you kill them? Do you kill mosquitoes? Normally most of the people, they kill mosquitoes. And what about little ants that will bother you in your households? People kill ants also. Remember, mosquitoes, ants have the same life as ours. They deserve to live in this world same as us. So if we kill animals, remember that bad deed, that evil deed will give a result of shorter lifespan. And in the other way, Supreme Buddha said, if someone becomes kind to animals, if someone saves the animals' lives, he will have a longer lifespan as a result of that action. So if you need to live long, if you need to have a long lifespan, what you have to do is save the animals' lives. Be kind to animals around you. Never hurt them. Right? When you see little ants floating on water, right? You need to save them. When mosquitoes bite you, do not kill them. Right? Now, same as you, now you don't like to go to the death, or you don't like to be dead while crushing to something. Right? If you were to die, if you were to find the death by crushing to something or some machine, what will happen? Is that a good death? No. You don't find happy in that, right? So same feeling goes with these mosquitoes. If you crush them, same feeling will give to them. So what you have to do not kill mosquitoes. Do not kill ants. They deserve to live same as us. They have a life same as us. They love their life same as us. So what you have to do? Save the animal's life. Right? Be a lifesaver. If you save the animal's life, you will have the opportunity to live long in this world. So that is the secret behind a longer lifespan. So be kind to animals. Don't be rude to animals. Never ever kill animals. And always be a lifesaver. If you do that, you will have a longer lifespan. Namo Buddhaya, Theruvan Saranai.
Do you need to be religious to become a Buddhist? Well, that depends on what you mean by becoming religious. For many people, becoming religious, the word religion brings the memories of rigid traditions and unquestionable faith and also imposed beliefs, and a set of rules that are made not because they make sense, but because they are coming from an ancient scripture, ancient text. In that approach, Buddhism is different. Buddha did not claim himself to be a god. Buddha never asked for worship from people, and also Buddha never demanded blind faith from people. Instead, he offered a path of self-realization and self-exploration, and a path that everyone must follow by themselves, right? In one of his most famous sutras, Kalama Sutra, Buddha meets a group of people who was confused. That they met a lot of spiritual teachers, and everyone they meet, they claim themselves to know the ultimate truth. And then they ask this question from the Buddha: who should we believe? What spiritual leader and what spiritual teaching should we believe? The Buddha's answer was quite surprising. The Buddha said, do not just reject an idea or believe in an idea just because it is coming from an ancient scripture. And also do not reject an idea or believe an idea just because it is your tradition. And also remember that do not believe and reject an idea just because your teacher said it so. Instead, test it, live it, observe it, and see it for yourself. Is this idea brings happiness to my life? Is this idea bringing happiness to my life and to the others? Is this idea works for well-being and for the benefit of myself and to the others? If it is a yes, then by all means, hold on to that practice, hold on to that idea and do it. But if an idea brings suffering and unhappiness and pain and suffering to your life and to the others, then the Buddha said, let it go. So understand, Buddhism doesn't need blind faith. What Buddhism needs is the confidence to practice it. So you may ask, if Buddhism isn't about blind faith, what is it about? Call it a religion, call it a philosophy, call it spirituality. Labels don't matter. What matters the most is what you practice. If you're practicing love and kindness that is unbound and unconditional for every sentient being in this world, you're practicing the Buddha's path. If you're practicing the mindfulness and awareness to seek the truth within yourself, then you're practicing the Buddha's path. So Buddhism is not about whether you call yourself a Buddhist. It is about whether you are choosing to live your life with wisdom and compassion and kindness and with more clarity, right? Just keep in mind that even the Buddha started this journey not as someone who was enlightened. First, the Buddha was, before becoming the Buddha, he was living in a palace. He was living in a royal life. He lived a luxurious life. He was born to wealth, right? And then he understood that living within these material pleasures, becoming busy with these material pleasures, doesn't help me to seek the truth, doesn't help me to seek the peace that I'm looking for. So what he did was, he renounced his life and he fell into the other extreme where he practiced the self-denial, right? He tortured his body, he starved his body, and then he understood that even self-denial, this extreme, doesn't help to practice and to find the peace within myself. And then only he found out this middle path, this balanced life, where you do not indulge yourself in the sensual pleasure, and also you do not deny anything. You do not deny yourself, right? So this is the essence of Buddhism, not falling into any kind of extremes, not falling into any kind of extreme beliefs, and it is more about finding what works for you, finding what brings the peace and happiness to yourself and to the others. If Buddhism brings the peace and happiness to your life, you have to practice it. You can practice it. You are free to practice it, right? And also the Buddha said, everyone is open to come and see it for yourself. This is the most important thing in Buddhism. The Buddha says, see it for yourself, put it into practice, and understand. And then you will realize the peace of this practice and the value of this practice. So keep it in your mind. In Buddhism, you don't need to believe anything blindly. You don't need to accept any traditions or dogmas. What you need to do is try to be more kind. Try to practice more kindness and compassion within your heart. And also try to be aware of your thoughts and try to live with intentions rather than being carried away with the habits and emotions, right? So if it works for you, if it helps for you, and if it brings the happiness to your life, then practice it. If it doesn't, let it go, right? So this is the difference in Buddhist practice. So in the end, the question is not whether you call yourself a Buddhist or not whether you call yourself religious. It is about, are you willing to practice? Are you ready to practice, right? And are you ready to say it by yourself? So keep this valuable idea in your mind, and then you'll be able to understand Buddhism more clearly. I wish you all, may you be happy, and may you be healthy, and may you be able to live in peace in this life. Namo Buddhaya. Namo Buddhaya. Welcome everyone to another video. From today's video, I would like to share some thoughts about going for refuge to these three jewels or three refuges in Buddhism. Now, traditionally, all Buddhists go for refuge to these three gems or three jewels. And in other words, we call them three refuges, right? And it is a traditional way. And most of the time, the traditional Buddhists, they do it as a chanting, right? Whenever they do their prayers, they say, Buddhang saranang gacchami, I go for refuge to the Buddha. Dhammang saranang gacchami, I go for refuge to the Dhamma, the Buddha's teachings. Sanghang saranang gacchami, I go for refuge to the Sangha, the monastic and the spiritual community. So one can think, okay, it is same like the other religions, you know. You go for refuge, you believe in this Buddha and his teachings and the monastic community. It is same. But if you take a closer look at going for refuge, the process of going for refuge, there's a clear reason. There's a clear reason why we do this, right? And also we have to remember that just because we chanted Buddhang saranang gacchami, or just because we chanted that I go for refuge to the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha, doesn't mean that you truly go for refuge to the Buddha. Okay? So there's a way to do that. So let's discuss how we should do this. First of all, what are these three jewels? The first jewel or the first refuge in Buddhism is called Buddha. Buddha is the historical Buddha, the greatest teacher who taught the Buddha's teachings to all of us. The greatest teacher who taught the reality of life. So we consider him as the teacher, right? The guiding light of our life. So why we go for refuge to the Buddha? Sometimes some people can say, okay, now you're believing the Buddha as a god. No, it is not the same way, because Buddha wasn't a god, and nor did the Buddha claim himself to be a god, right? So the Buddha was a simple human like all of us who achieved something beyond that an average human could achieve, the liberation. So why we go for refuge to the Buddha? It is because he's the biggest role model of our life, right? So to have an inspiration from a character, we go for refuge to the Buddha. When we go through the difficult times and hard times in our life, we can always relate to the Buddha's life and say, okay, if Buddha faced such kind of adversities and difficulties, how would Buddha do this, right? So then you can follow the Buddha's life and Buddha's role model. You take the Buddha as the role model and it becomes the biggest inspiration for our life. So that is why we go for refuge to the Buddha, right? So the correct way to go for refuge to the Buddha is to consider the Buddha as the biggest role model of our life, and to learn from his character and to follow his character as well. Okay? Or even though we cannot follow his fullest character, at least we can try some of his amazing qualities in his life. Okay? So that is the first thing and the first reason why we go for refuge to the Buddha, right? And then the Dhamma, that is the second jewel or the second refuge in Buddhism. Dhamma is the Buddha's teachings. Now, why we go for refuge to the Dhamma? It is to consider it as the framework of our spiritual practice. Buddha taught his amazing teachings for 45 years. And these teachings we consider as the Dhamma, right? So these teachings gives us amazing help to live our life and to understand the true meaning behind our life, right? So to provide this framework, provide this path, we go for refuge to the Dhamma. Now, how to truly go for refuge to the Dhamma is to practice it, right? Follow the Buddha's teachings and practice it. And that is the correct way to go for refuge to the Dhamma. Okay? So first we take the role model and we follow his character, and also we follow his teachings, the Buddha's teachings. And third jewel, or the third refuge, is Sangha, the monastic community, the spiritual community who have achieved the levels of spirituality. Okay? Why we go for refuge to the Sangha or this monastic community or the spiritual community is to give us the support for our spiritual practice. Because we all know we can't do this all alone. We need a community. Everyone needs a community of people to grow. So when we get together and when we get in touch with this spiritual community, we can take advice from them. We can take the experiential advice from them and grow ourselves, right? So as a help, as a support for our spiritual practice, we go for refuge to the Sangha, the monastic community. So this is why we go for refuge. And this is the real reason behind going for refuge to the Triple Gems. So I hope you got some idea about the 3 refuges in Buddhism. So I wish you all, may all of you be healthy, happy, and peaceful. Namo Buddhaya.